Here are 5 ways that you can make mundane tasks more fun if you have ADHD. One of the reasons that people with ADHD struggle to get tasks accomplished or procrastinate is because a lot of times it's boring. When this happens to me, there are 5 things that I like to do to keep mundane tasks like laundry, dishes, cleaning the house more fun so that I can hold myself accountable and complete the tasks as needed. Number 1 is make it into a game. For me, I find keeping my house picked up, keeping things put away, keeping up on the housework is what I struggle with the most. So when I get in these moments, I will set a timer for either 30 minutes or 1 hour and just get as much done as I can during that time. You may have heard people refer to this as like a power hour, and depending on how much time I have available to complete a certain task, I'll set a timer for 30 minutes or 1 hour and just get as much done in that time as I can. Number 2, break it up into smaller tasks. Again, where I struggle the most is keeping up on my house, decluttering, purging, organizing, etc. So I have created a 7-week rotation system in my home where every week I focus on 2 areas of my home. This week might be the kitchen and dining room. Next week, the bathroom and my bedroom, etc. During that time, I schedule my week and I include areas of my home based on that rotation. So when the week approaches that I have my bedroom and the kitchen, for instance, I will plan out my week and I will include time blocks to focus on individual tasks in those areas, as well as decluttering, organizing, and deep cleaning those areas. As long as I finish it within that week, I'm not mad about it. Number 3, create rewards for yourself. For me, that looks like my pyrography studio. I'm a pyrography artist or wood burning artist, and once I get down there, I hyper focus in a bad way. Well, not a bad way, a great way. It's super productive. However, I can spend hours down there, and once I'm deep dive into a project, I don't want to stop. So I will reward myself with art. I do not allow myself to get to work in my studio until everything that I have to get done is done. This means cleaning whatever rotation I'm on. Before I start my pyrography workday, I make sure that's completed first. Every morning after I drop off the kids, I spend about 20 minutes, 30 minutes tidying up the house and cleaning up the kitchen before I go down into my studio and start a project or continue whatever project I'm working on. This next one might be controversial, but I think it's beneficial because you're certainly not getting bored. And that is number 4, laundromat. When I get overwhelmed by the amount of laundry I have to do after I've let it build up and build up, I like to take everything to the laundromat and do it all at once. There are a few benefits to doing it this way. 1, you get it all done at one time. 2, you don't get bored because you're working almost constantly. 3, it is nice because you can take up 5 washing machines and 5 dryers and do 5 loads of laundry at one time. There is a point where you are taking a little break. It's like 15-20 minutes before the first load's done. You stick it in the dryer, then the second load, and the third load, and the fourth load, or however many you have. And by the time you get everything rotated over, your first dryer is finishing and it's time to fold. So if I'm really behind, I like to just knock it all down in one go. Takes about 3 hours, but then you're done. Number 5 is my favorite, and it's also my ride or die. And that is to listen to a podcast, your favorite music, or an audiobook. People that know me rarely see me without my headphones in because I honestly am listening to audiobooks, podcasts, or music all the time when I'm doing boring tasks. And it's super easy to pause and stop. I'll generally be listening to an audiobook or podcast. However, I do have a couple of recommendations when it comes to listening to a podcast while doing something boring. I would steer clear of educational podcasts and just stick to entertaining podcasts. When I listen to an educational podcast or a motivational podcast, I find myself stopping what I'm doing very often to take notes so that I'll remember it for later. One of my favorite podcasts to listen to is The Gold Digger with Jenna Kutcher. I love her and I love her podcast, but you will not find me listening to one without a notebook in my hand because I want to remember everything she said. So those are my 5 hacks to make mundane tasks more fun if you have ADHD. And please let me know what you do in your home or your work environment that makes it easier for you to complete boring tasks when you have such a mental block to those sort of things.